Hello, and welcome to Math Apps in the Classroom. I am Jean Potter, and this is one of our series of teaching and learning team webinars from the Oklahoma Public School Resource Center. If you've been following us along, you know that this is a work in progress and we've ran into some glitches. So we're going to try this again today. If there are any problems when you see the recording, it would be wonderful if you would send me an email and let me know what the problems were so that we can correct them. The webinar is going to be recorded. It will normally be held on the third Thursday of each month at 4 o'clock, but if there's a better time for you, please let me know, because we'd be glad to work around the times. It's a work in progress again, so let me guide you to the location where this will be saved. I'm going to go to my screen share now, so hold on and be patient for just a second. You should see my screen now, and it should be the Oklahoma Public School Resource Center homepage. If you are a member, you can go to the login area, click on the login button. If you've never been here before, you would go to the Create Your Account Now, and it will simply ask you for your first name, last name, an email address, and make sure that the email address is the one that you use for your school email, and then give a username and submit. I've already been here before, so with any luck, I'm going to be able to go back and log in with my account. And I've been on the site before, but usually I would put my username and password here. This is our home page for members only. Go to the Teaching and Learning section, so click on the link. And these are the ongoing things that we are updating for this. There are several different types of resources. The online courses are courses that are required by the SDE, and so those are online interactive courses, things like bloodborne pathogens and autism. The archive workshops, Bianca Rose, who is the statewide coordinator, is archiving all of the workshops so that you can see the slide presentations, the resources and guidebooks for the ones that we have done as a face-to-face training. You can access and register for our upcoming events using this link. You can see pictures of our staff here. We have a few resources started here that we have suggested. And then we're going to be looking today at the online professional development. So this is the page that you'll go to. We have two types of online professional development at this time. We're doing webinars like this one, which are usually regularly scheduled twice a month. And then we're doing Web and Go, which are usually shorter screencasts focusing on one specific topic. The webinars last about 30 minutes if all goes as planned. Web and Go's we think will be less than 15 minutes. So be sure and check those out. For now, I'm going to close out of this, and we're going to get started on our math apps. So let me close that one and close that one. First one we're going to be talking about is a graphing app, but we're also going to be looking at some more elementary level applications and resources, so don't go away. First, the one I'm showing you first is called Desmos. The URL for it is www.desmos.com, and it is an online graphing calculator. You scroll down just a little bit here, you can see some of the things that have been done with the graphing calculator activity, Desmos. It is also available on the App Store, on the Google Play Store. So let's look and see what it looks like. And like I said, this is new to me. I'm not a very big expert on this, but I can go over here and type in an equation. So let's type in y equals, I can type or I can add it in like this, x plus 4. And it shows the line and what the line would look like. I can add another one and type in y equals 2x minus, let's say minus 3. And I can see how different those lines look. I can change these. So if I wanted this one to look slightly different, let's change it to a slope of 0.5. And you can see the difference there. So it's a great way for students to see what happens when they change some of the parameters for the lines. Let's go back to the home page. And yes, I can leave this site. This is an excellent place for looking for things because they have lots of activities and they've got lots of teacher support. So you can go down to classroom activities or to learn Desmos and learn quite a bit more about it. I'm going to look at one classroom activity that I played with a little bit before. And this one is called Marble Slide. So let's see if I can find it. Sometimes I have trouble navigating the site. Let's go to most popular. I'm going to Marble Slides Lines. And this one is just a fun activity, but it really gives you some ideas and students some ideas about what happens when you change the parameters on lines. Notice I can create an account and I can create a class code. So there are some things there that will help teachers out as they're doing class activities. This is the student preview. And basically what we're trying to do is to make sure that this purple ball will fall down and hit all of the stars. So on this one, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to go down and it's already set up and it runs it right down through the funnel. But let's look at the next one. This is the same sort of thing. I want this ball to fall so that it hits all of these stars and there's nothing below it, so that's not going to work. So let's put a line in or move this line. And let's move this line so that it has less of a slope. So let's try a 1x, still not where quite where I need it. Let's try a 0.5x, and that looks pretty good. I launch, and it shows me that I've been successful. Please note that I've done this 2 or 3 times because I did not do that well the first time I went through this. So again, that's called Desmos. We'll go back to the home screen for just a second so that you can remember what it looks like. This is the home screen, classroom activities, where I found the marble slides are here. And there are some great pictures of some of the things that students have done with it and teachers have done with it. That's Desmos, www.desmos.com. The next one is an old friend of mine. I've seen it before and used it before. It's called either Geogebra or Geogebra or something on that order. I don't know exactly how they want it to be pronounced, but it's spelled Geogebra. So the URL is www.geogebra.org. This one's available for download onto various types of technology, including tablets and mobile devices like phones, but also on computers, or I can use it just on the web. So let's look at the web one, and they all work pretty much the same. It includes things like a graphing calculator, geometry, a 3D grapher, and if I want to go to those, I simply go over here to the 3 dots, and that will take me to the different ones. I'm going to start on geometry. I'm going to turn off the grid, and I'm going to draw a line first. So there's a line, and I can then analyze that line. That tells me what the equation is for that line. I can also draw different types of polygons. So I'm going to draw a triangle. And I would if I would get out of this. I'm going to cancel that. So I've got a triangle. To draw a triangle, I put in the 3 vertices and make sure I go back to the original vertices first. I'm going to get rid of some of this over here because it's kind of in my way, so I can close that for the moment. I can measure these angles, so I would go up here to the angle measurement. If I want to measure an interior angle, I click on the different points in clockwise. If I want to measure the exterior angle, I would do exactly the opposite. I would go in counterclockwise. Whoops. I wonder that. I just want to measure the angle. I go in here, then here, and I get the exterior angles. So lots of different things you could do with that. There's way more here than I have time to show you today, but that is geogebra.org. And if you need some extra, there's a lot of information on this on the web. It's a worldwide resource with lots of information. But if you would like to have some all in one spot, one of the things that I used to do, and it's kind of defunct at the moment, but I need to get it started again, is my Scoop It site. It's www.scoop.it/t/Geogebra in my classroom. And there are several different resources here. As I said, I haven't been particularly active with this, so some of them may be out of date, but there should be some good ways to find some resources here on this one to at least get you started. Now, let's look at some other manipulatives that are online for free. The problem is that, unfortunately, they don't work well with Java, or they work with Java, which doesn't work well with our with Chrome. And I had thought I could go ahead and go to Internet Explorer and be able to screen share that, but it did not work. I've tried that 2 or 3 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. Come back here, and I'm going to screen share a static presentation that I'm hoping will work a little better. At least you. So one of my favorites is the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. It is published or curated by the Utah State University, And what I really like about that is the way it's organized. There's a grid here, so it's organized by grade level and also grouped by the strand, which makes it a little easier to find things than some things. The problem is that it doesn't work well on Chrome because Chrome doesn't play nice with Java, and many of these are Java applications. So I had to create a static presentation, but if you go on with Internet Explorer, you can actually use these. This is the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. I'm going to look for right now at pre-K through 2 number and operations. And this is what I come up with. This is just a small sample of some of the activities. One of my favorites that I've worked with is called Number Line Bounce. Number Line Bounce gives the students a number that they're supposed to get to using adding and subtracting, and you use these arcs to show what you're adding and subtracting. You just pick those up and move them onto the number line. This one's pretty easy because it's straight addition, and once you get to the right number, then it gives you a feedback that you've been successful. But then it asks you to describe your bounces in a number sentence. So then you drag the numbers, which are in these boxes, and the operators into the boxes down here so that you show the number line. So not only are you getting a visual, but you're also getting a number sentence that looks like traditional math. Again, that is National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. It is, and I like the way it's organized with this grid system because it organizes and groups things a little easier to work with than my next one. This one is called the Math Forum, mathforum.org. It has recently joined forces with the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, or NCTM, but the site is still at mathforum.org. It is less well organized, or at least for me, it's more difficult to find things, but I want to give you 2 examples because there is a lot of information here. We're going to be looking at the Internet Mathematics Library. That's this part right here. We're also going to look at Math Tools, which is down at this part. So let's look at the Mathematics Library first. Notice that there are topics, there are resource types, education labels, so there is organization there. We're going to be looking at educational materials just to give you an idea of what's here. So let's look down at educational materials. And educational tools are the first one I'd like to look at. And this is what's going to come up. As you notice, I looked at educational tools and then calculators, so I narrowed it down. And you can see that there are several different resources linked here. Notice that Desmos, our friend from a few minutes ago, is here. Texas Instruments is here, Casio's here, so lots of different links for resources that you can access. If I go back to the page, and instead of looking at, I'm still in educational tools, but this time I want to look at the lesson plans and activities. So I would click on this one, and this page comes up. And this is just a small sample of the lesson plans that are available. Notice there are 1,342 lesson plans available. That would take a bit of time to browse through, so you can search using a keyword search, or you can browse by lesson plan, by topic, or by level. So a great resource from Math Forum. The other one I really like is this Math Tools portion. This one, click on this and you come up with this page. This page has a lot of different tools organized so you can choose what grade level, what resource type, what topic, and what kind of technology. In this case, I'm going to take you to one of my favorites. It's in the 7th grade course, among other places. The topic is geometry in space. The resource type is tools, and the technology type is computer. And if I put all of that information in and then click go, I would go to this one, a page that looks like this is a portion of this, a screenshot of a portion of the page. This is one of my favorites. It's called Building Houses with Side View. It usually shows up on page 2 or 3 of the tools, so you have to look for it a little bit. The goal of this is to build a house with a given number of blocks that matches the view from top, front, top, and right side. So in this case, I'm supposed to be using 12 blocks. It's hard to see, but I'm supposed to be using 12 blocks. And if I looked at it from the front, it would look this way. If I looked at it from the top and from the right. And so I can twist this around. I can manipulate this so I can see it. So you can see that I've manipulated it here. This is one view. This is not the right answer because I think I have 18 cubes and I really need to have 12. So I need to work on that one a little bit. But again, that's in mathforum.org. Some great activities for introducing students or expanding students' information if they've already finished the typical work that you've given. This would be a great extra resource for them to work on. I'm going to stop sharing again. I'm going to go back to my home screen, and I'm going to share this time back on my Google. This one, I believe, is the right one. It helps if I didn't have so many up. I'm going to go here. Another one that I have found is called Math Landing. This is new also to me, although I had pinned it on my Pinterest page a while back. Again, I can register and so that I have a few more benefits, but there are lots of things I can do. If I go to a search term, I can put in keywords. I can search by different topics. I can search by different grade level. And again, I'm going to go to find things that will help in a variety of different things. So let's just do one search. Number and operations, and let's see what happens when I go here. So lots of different activities. These are games, interactive media, reference materials, lots of different things here. So again, that is mathlanding.org. I don't know a lot about it, but it does look like a great one to use. Another site that I like is Annenberg Learner. It's www.learner.org. And again, there are lots of different things here. I have a suspicion that these may also be some Java in those. They may not all work, but it is a good place to start. And you can always go to Internet Explorer to get it to work. And notice it's not just for math, like most of the things we've been talking about today, but it also has various other subjects too. So this would be a good one to share with your cohorts. So far, I have concentrated on things that are online, so available on the computer online, but you can also go to the web store. If I want to go to the Google Apps Store or to the App Store for Apple and search on math, I can come up with a lot of different things, many of which are free. Some of the ones that seem to be the most suggested are by the Math Learning Center. So let's look at the number line. And this one again is on your, this is on the Google Store, but it's also available on the Apple. And it's much like the number bounce that we used a while ago. So using the number line, but this is on a mobile device. So be sure you check out the apps also. And finally, don't forget the games that are out there that may seem like a waste of time, but there are some pretty good ones out here. One of my favorites is on www.kidopo.com, Kidopo. And if I go to this and click on games, and then I scroll down and click on math games, I come up with some math games that are pretty nice for working with students in math. There's a shape one, and there's some Desmos. The one I really like, and the one that I find to be a wonderful time waster, is called the Equator. It actually shows up on page 5 if you look at math games. And what you do, and it's a little noisy, so just hang loose for just a moment. Let it load. And I am going to play the game, but then I can turn the sound down. And what you do for this is that you try to find numbers that go together in a number family. So in other words, 18 divided by 18 is 1. Let's see. And it's not as easy as it sounds. 15 minus 14 is 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. So, and it tells you down here at the bottom what those math families are. If I go to 3 times 5, that equals 15. And it's another one of those where you're trying to get rid of everything before you hit the top. But that's a great review for students who are trying to learn their addition, multiplication, subtraction, or division. Granted, it's just basic math facts, but it's a great review. One of my goals right now is that I'm trying to learn more about Minecraft for education and incorporating Minecraft into the classroom. If I can ever get access to Minecraft for education, I want to use it, but for now I'm trying to think of ways to use regular Minecraft apps. As I said, as I stop sharing my screen and go back to the real me, as I said, I want to thank you for coming. This was just not enough time for you to see everything. It was just a quick overview. If you saw something that you really liked and would like to see more about it, please let me know. If you have some other suggestions, please send me those also, because I can share them with others that way. My email address is jean.potter@opsrc, and I'd love to hear from you. Again, if you had any problems seeing this once I get it up on the web, please let me know. It should be posted and available on our website within a couple days. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.